Hello, welcome to This Week in Japan. I'm the Gaijin John.
And I would like to offer an official apology on behalf of the Geeks and Gaijins podcast for John's terrible statements last week. During the podcast, John, the Gaijin, said the words, and I quote directly here, "eat the rich." And that was an incredibly insensitive statement to make given the events of last week. We've lost a tragic figure, a true king to our nation, and I would like to offer my apologies to His Royal Highness, DMX. Your passing will be missed, and I hope X delivers you to the golden gates in the sky.
Okay, Thomas, I'm just saying, all food matters. Well...
Oh, I'm the Geek Tom, by the way.
Yeah, and together we make Geeks and Gaijins, and we bring you the local news and just generally stuff where we go massively off topic regardless.
That is to suggest we ever have topics to begin with. We have headlines, I guess.
Well, the headlines that we do have this week include a man being arrested for shoes, a giant crab statue fight, 2 popular polar bears, athletes and their vaccines, protests, and vending machines. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of vending machines.
This might be the most Japanese episode we've ever run on this podcast.
Are you sure? We had that one all about Olympic sexism.
It's a close front runner. You're right there. No Olympics this week, guys. Good news.
Thomas, I said the thing about the athletes' vaccines. Did you not hear?
That one there. Well.
It's we have to. Well, it's not going away, Thomas. No matter how much the Japanese population want it, it's not going away.
I've already hit denial. I've already entered the denial stage of this.
Do you know what is going away, though, Thomas?
My youth.
But also, our tiny cuddly polar bear cub, Ho-chan.
Aww.
Yeah.
What are they doing with the cub? Where's it going?
Well, she's been too popular.
I want to see the baby. Show me the baby.
We announced beforehand in Cute Corner that Ho-chan and her mother were going to be put on public display. That happened on the 23rd of March, and now...
It was a very good idea. Too good, in fact.
Yes, 2 weeks, and now they're going to be kept out of the public eye until the beginning of May. Because in Osaka, there's quasi-emergency coronavirus measures, and turns out that huge amounts of people coming to see a cute polar bear, not good for preventing COVID. Who'd have thunk?
It was a very popular polar bear. It's just too popular for anyone's good. The mother is stressed, the child is stressed, the people in the park are getting sick from a deadly disease. It's just not great for everyone.
They were waiting roughly 40 minutes, Thomas.
I don't blame them. That's a very cute polar bear cub, and you don't have many of them left, John. They're a dying species. Our polar ice caps are melting. The bees are disappearing. Sorry, I'm getting off topic again. Anyway, 40 minutes for polar bear is a perfectly reasonable amount of time, although it is not advisable during COVID.
However, this polar bear is doing something that a lot of people are doing this quarantine, deciding to telework online. So now this polar bear is starting its own YouTube channel. It's not. It's Polar Bear Podcast!
Oh, it'll just shoot past us in the rankings straight away. Oh, what a life we live.
I mean, duh. I'd listen to a polar bear podcast. Let us guest. No, the zoo has said that they will keep posting polar bear videos on YouTube, which is a thing because they like free money.
Ah, yes, that glorious, glorious YouTube ad revenue. Truly a zoo's primary source of income.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to not get views from a YouTube channel with a cute polar bear on it.
Oh, it's fantastic publicity until the Coca-Cola corporation copyright strikes it for infringing on their brand for an ad from like the 90s. So, you win some, you lose some.
Well, do you know who has also lost their debut fight in Crime Corner. It's giant and it lives in Japan.
I'm not sure. I didn't see the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. You're threatening me with spoilers now, John.
Well, I think it's going to put some brakes on the unannounced sequel, which is Random Osaka Man versus Crab Statue.
Did the Osaka Man somehow lose to the crab statue? Because I don't see where the story is there.
Well, he is a coward and ran away, and therefore lost by default.
Oh, he did. He brought dishonor upon himself and his family for fleeing from a crab statue.
Well, okay. This was at 5 a.m. also in Osaka, and Osaka is very famous for its crab, and outside of a restaurant is this giant crab statue displaying the crab that you can have inside. And this is a restaurant called Kanigen, which is statue of crab legs.
I'm assuming there's some actual crab there as well, instead of just the legs of a crab, the statue.
Well, yeah, but the whole thing weighs about 100 kilograms, so 220 pounds. In the crab corner, weighing 220 pounds! And in the idiot corner, there is just two random guys who are caught in security. Just think idiots fighting stuff. Because it's just 5 a.m. And it's 5 a.m. on a Monday, so they obviously have such rich lives.
Yeah, the video is online. I think we found it through the Sora News website. They spend a decent amount of time egging each other on to escalate their conflict with the crab statue for unknown reasons at the moment. The motivation is still incognito to us.
Maybe a crab statue killed their father.
Potentially. But the fight eventually resolves with the crab statue being pulled over by the men pulling over the crab statue, and several of its legs falling off as it falls on the floor.
And they flee like children because they
flee the scene.
Because they knew those crab legs would animate. Well, not really, because actually they just caused about 1.6 million yen of damage, which is about $16,000. Which, that's still a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot
for
for
the statue?
Yeah, it seems to be. Or at least repairs to the statue.
Oh, man. It's a very expensive statue.
Well, it's been standing out the restaurant for about 5 years and is like the icon of the restaurant. And owner of the restaurant, Gen Takeda, was extremely upset.
I can imagine. It's an expensive statue.
Apparently he is heartbroken and he is crazy angry. Which he apparently said in Kansai Hogen, or Kansai dialect, which is, or Osaka Ben, as it's sometimes known, which basically imagine like the equivalent of a Japanese angry New Yorker. Yeah, so basically lots of people are going like, well, this is dumb. They're really, really dumb. Also,
not the Sora News editor. Whoever wrote that Sora News article was out for blood.
Yeah.
They were really unhappy.
I suppose statues like this are important to Japanese like restaurants and stuff, and especially when they're like outside a restaurant at 5 a.m. Like they're meant to just represent it. You're not meant to like worry about it and like push it inside. It's like, no, it stands there. It represents the restaurant. And apparently what represents the rest of Osaka is angry young men being idiots.
I mean, give your expert opinion on that, John. Is that an accurate representation?
I have been to Osaka once, about 3 years ago. Maybe, Thomas, have you thought about it? Maybe they're just angry they couldn't get their tickets for Super Nintendo World.
I mean, they shouldn't have to take it out on a random crab. but I would understand it if they did.
No, but we all wish a speedy recovery to the
Crab son.
to the monstrous crab, to the monstrous abomination of crab legs.
Oh dear, what a weird little thing that is.
Well, we've got weirder, Thomas.
Yeah, welcome to Japan, folks. There's always weirder. Oh
Yeah.
boy, do we have weirder for you.
Welcome to Crime Corner properly, because that's just boring Crime Corner.
Now we're going to the crime heartland of Japan. We're going back to Aichi Prefecture, boys and girls and others, because all the crazy stuff happens in Aichi Prefecture.
I mean, this is the thing, like, people in Japan steal weird stuff. We've talked about a lot on this podcast. We've even talked about people stealing shoes before, but this is a man stealing women's shoes. And not only that, was he stole them and then replaced them.
With brand new shoes, which is weird, but I suppose it makes for a good cover.
Well, the way to explain it is, when you go into work at a building in Japan, either an office building or maybe a school like I work at, usually you have two sets of shoes. You have one outside pair of shoes and then kind of slippers, whatever, inside set of shoes. So and all day while you're there, you have your inside set of shoes on. So I have no idea what's happening to my outside set of shoes. The janitor could be walking around in them or using them on his hands and just marvelling at the size of them.
Or someone could have snuck into the front of your school in the middle of the morning and taken them and replaced them with a brand new pair.
I think I would have noticed that, mostly just because my shoes are so bad.
Well, that was the case with the woman that called this, made this crime notice to the police, was that she went and put on her shoes at the end of the day and noticed that they weren't nearly as worn in as her old shoes that had been stolen. So she was like, these shoes are like brand new. That's odd. Maybe I should raise this with someone. And then after finding the fella, because I think they caught him on tape, they discovered that he had multiple other pairs of used shoes in his house that did not belong to him.
Yes, so the man is, according to investigators, had about 20 pairs of women's shoes in his house. And when asked why,
Take your time, John.
when asked why he had stolen the shoes, he said, "I wanted to smell the scent of women's shoes." I mean,
I don't know how to respond to that either. It's an interesting taste, I suppose. Can't say I hear much about it, although to be fair, I looked through the related articles on the Sora News website, and there were a surprising number of other articles linked that were also about men stealing or sniffing shoes. So this seems to be like a recurring thing in Japan.
just no one tell Belle Delphine, she'll sell thousands.
Yes, gamer girl shoes.
Oh dear. They smell of Cheetos and disappointment.
I don't know in what world someone's eating Cheetos with their toes, but it's an amazing world. I suppose you have to have your hands busy on your mouse and keyboard, so you have to get flexible in order to multitask with your feet. You're right, John. This is the future.
Thomas, I hate that image. But yes, so this man, he had stolen essentially, the police assumed that he'd been, like, semi-stalking them and looking at what shoes they'd be wearing, and then gone away, bought, like, an exact replica, and then swapped them out.
Oh, yeah, this was absolutely premeditated. If he even got the sizes right, he probably had to have access to the original shoes before to, like, read the label, or he was very good at guessing, one of the two.
So what he would have likely have done is gone to the shoe boxes, like, beforehand. And usually they have the people's names on them, so they'll have their names. So he'll be able, if he's stalking someone in particular, and they're saying, this just, the more I talk about it, the more creepy this guy is. Yeah. Yuck, 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 yuck. But Thomas, do you know what's not yuck?
Sweet potato.
Total sweet potato. Which is not this week's snack break, but the prelude to this week's snack break. Because I don't have no sweet potato. Not on me. Because it's not that time of year.
But you can get some sweet potato, John. And where can you get sweet potato from, in theory?
In theory. I can get it from a vending machine. It's Japan. We have vending machines everywhere. You get a vending machine. You get a vending machine. Not you. Not allowed. To be honest, I would really like to find the dumb vending machines because there's none near me. I only see drinks vending machines, which are fine. Drinks and occasionally like cigarette vending machines.
Yeah, just those convenient everyday vending machines that people would actually use.
Yeah, as opposed to this one in Miyazaki Prefecture, in which there is a vending machine stocked with canned baked sweet potato. Yes.
You can have it hot or cold, or in small or medium portions. So, there's a sweet potato for you.
That's the thing, like, sweet potato, like Japanese sweet potato, is nice, but there's nothing worse than having, like, too much. It's just like, because it's sticky and sweet, and it's nice, but it's too much of a good thing. And this was set up by Yuji Kodama, 66, who is president of Nofuku Sangyo. And he is, basically, he has a company that has baked potatoes, and he has them canned by disabled people who work at the factory and receive a portion of the profits. I am glad they are canned and not just a vending machine just filled with, like, potato.
In a paper bag.
Yeah.
That would make it difficult for vending machines, but sure. Now you just get to scoop out your just cold sweet potato out of a can. Just with a spoon.
Oh.
Or whatever. Maybe you just drink it.
There's no spoon. You usually hold it. You usually hold the skin because it comes in the skin. You hold the skin and you eat the inside. The sales representative said, people could use the canned potatoes as preserved food or gifts, as they have a shelf life of 1 year.
I'm very glad that John did not send me a canned sweet potato for my birthday.
Hello, honey. I know it's our 25th anniversary, and I wanted to get something very special to me. So, why is it a special... So he said he built a special machine for this. If they're in cans, like...
Yeah, nothing about the machine that I read actually is helpful for disabled people. But
no, it's that they're made... The cans are made by disabled people. So the canning process is done by disabled people.
And the vending machines?
The vending machine is just a vending machine, Thomas. Like, even in Japan, most vending machines will have a hot section and a cold section.
Which is wild. But hey, it's Japan. They love vending machines. And vending machines are becoming even more popular now that no one wants to go to restaurants because of COVID. There's been a whole industry boom in the field of vending machines. You can get, like, fried chicken and soup and stuff out of your vending machines these days. It's fantastic.
Again, I've never seen any of these. Like, I kind of wish I did, but also, like, I like using a vending machine because it means I don't have to use my really bad Japanese. I will say that, so it's useful in that regard. Vending machines are usually more expensive, so if there is a 7-Eleven next to a vending machine, go to the 7-Eleven, it will be cheaper.
But not during COVID. This is a general rule. But the reason that they're looking for vending machines is so that fewer people go into the stores, so that their employees are less likely to be exposed to coronavirus. So use the vending machines, folks.
It's a very common thing, like, not even vending machines, but just, like, tickets. Like, for lots of, like, small, like, chain restaurants and stuff in Japan, you will get, like, there'll be, like, a ticket booth, like, outside or in the entrance. And basically what you do is you'll press your ticket for it. You go, I want a this with a this. You then just hand your ticket to the person, and then you get your food to you, so you don't actually have to order anything. I even had that with an onsen once. Yes, the hot bath onsen. There was a ticket vending, well, a ticket machine outside of it, like, are you male or female? How long do you want to be in there? Which, do you want the ultimate extreme? Do you want a towel? I'm like, this does not feel like it's helped by a ticket machine, but sure. Especially because there was a worker there who had to hand me my towel.
Did he also punch your ticket on the way in?
Yes.
Did you have to keep the ticket on you, on your person, and display it on the way out?
Not while I was in the bath, no. They don't have, like, a ticket inspector walk out into the onsen. Sorry, I'm just imagining one, like, just appearing from below the water. Like, tickets, please. Just small bubbles just disappearing. Okay, that is something that does not exist. But what Thomas has does exist, because it's a strange world. It's Thomas-led snack break.
Hello, everybody. I am Thomas, and John has sent me food all the way from Japan for this special occasion.
Yay. Happy birthday, Thomas.
Thank you very much, John. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It has actually been, well, it was literally my birthday last week and Thomas's birthday this week.
Hello. I'm the birthday boy, but not anymore.
Yay.
But I still have my birthday presents to unwrap in the form of a Kitkat. You weren't kidding about the size of the Kitkats over there. This thing is mini.
They're tiny. They'll fit in the palm of your hand.
They do quite easily. It's fantastic. So it's not just any regular Kit Kat, as you might imagine. John has sent me passion fruit flavour Kit Kats. For what reason, I do not know.
I mean, I was walking through, I saw, there's a passion fruit Kit Kat. I was like, those are weird.
And you just thought of me.
Yeah.
Just like, gotta have these. It's the only thing that'll survive the trip to England, so fair enough.
Whether they have survived, I don't know, because you've not opened them yet.
Well, you sent me, what, 9 of these? 8.
Yeah.
So one of them should survive. I hope I like this first one, otherwise we're going to have to do something about the other 7.
It's like, are they meant to be covered in mould?
I hope not, because they've been sitting on my bedroom floor for like a month because they arrived way earlier than expected. So anyway, I've been prevaricating for too long about this. I'm going to unwrap it, get all that lovely crinkle sound effects on the microphone, do a little bit of Geeks and Gaijin's ASMR for you. So as we all know, Kit Kats, flavoured Kit Kats in Japan, always white chocolate, basically. So it's just a pale, creamy colour. Smells quite strong. Oh, yeah. Yes, now I'm getting that fruity scent. Lovely. It does smell very nice. All right, so just going to bite into it now. Ooh, it just comes in waves. There's different waves of it.
I love being on this side.
Doesn't it feel interactive? Don't you feel like you're just participating in the podcast? Okay, so second try. So you get the white chocolate first, obviously. It's a sort of general, fairly bland, mild enough. Sorry, that went down the wrong way. Shouldn't have talked whilst eating. How do you do this every week, John?
Let's just say I have a lot of practice eating way too much food.
I'm glad you put that second bit in other than just I have a lot of practice. Okay, so yes, first white chocolate, then that very rich passion fruit flavour kicks in. And then transitions into sort of, gets nice and tangy at the end there. And then a sort of biscuity aftertaste for the inside. Very nice, John.
I'm always totally unnerved by how much they just taste like the thing.
Well, I can't say that I've eaten a lot of passion fruit in my time. I know I'm an uncultured swine. But I would believe that is what passion fruit tastes like. And it's very nice. Sadly, I would not eat these in the same way I normally eat Kitkats, which is just by the fistful. I would actually just have one and be done with it. Because it would be a bit too rich if I had multiple of these at once. Okay, I will be finishing these off. But I'll take my time with them. Those will last me the rest of the month. Fantastic. Thank you very much, John. That was delicious.
Yay. No, I hope you enjoyed it too, listeners. We swapped it round.
I won't be doing this again.
No, because the shipping was expensive as No, well, coming up after snack break, we now have, well, let's get this out of the way. Thomas is in a good mood. Japan, Olympics, vaccination. These three things are all failures.
He bribed me with chocolate specifically for this. It was all a plan.
Yeah, so there is basically a huge amount of stories going, Japan might prioritize giving Japanese athletes vaccinations.
Yeah,
and this was from a semi reliable source as well. This was like an official. But now the Japanese Olympics minister just recently has denied prioritizing coronavirus vaccines for the Japanese athletes, which is, so they are totally consistent in their messaging, which also doesn't help because as of today, as of the 12th, basically they have just started properly vaccinating the elderly in Japan. And there are a bunch of quasi-states of emergencies, which are just Japan says do stuff, but the government isn't going to do anything, help.
You're on your own, folks. Unless you're an Olympic athlete, and then you're definitely getting a vaccine. Because let's be real, between you and me, John, what are the chances they're just going to vaccinate the athletes as soon as possible?
I mean,
regardless of what they say, we know where their priorities lie. They've been gunning for this Olympics for too long now to give up and not vaccinate.
No, I want them to go through this. I want them to go through with a totally socially distanced Olympics. I want to see wrestling socially distanced. So basically, it's easy. What you do is they've got all those poles lying around from pole vaults. Just attach them to each of and so.
Boxing's going to be fun. You basically just have to reinvent arms, but in real life, and you're good to go.
Literally, that's how the Japanese competitors will all win from playing.
That's
tedious
the thing.
amounts
Nintendo
of
was
arms.
ahead of the game. It was just a prototype for the 2020 Olympics. This is what's going to be in Mario and Sonic go to the 2021 Olympic Games. It's just arms again.
It's so boxing just becomes javelin, but with okay, I do, Thomas, I'll get back to you on this. Next week, I'm thinking of a whole socially distanced Olympics. I'm going to pitch it I'm going to pitch it to you, and by extension, the Japanese government.
For rowing, would you need 2 meters between each of the crew members in the boat?
Yes.
Just like a Viking longship.
No, so what it will be is like those magnificent men in their flying machines, where they have to like add like scrap heap challenge. So it's part of it. They're given like several hours before the race that they have to make additions to their boat to be socially distanced.
I mean, they weren't going to plan ahead for this. They were like, everyone's going to be vaccinated. The Olympics are going quite fine. Everything's going to be normal. Okay, now we need to do something, and it's on you guys to fix our mistakes.
Exactly. Japanese government ain't going to do anything. Get a local scrap heap. Okay, guys, 2 hours. Let's go.
It'd be an Olympics I actually watch. Oh, fantastic.
Nope. So I'm definitely getting my ideas on that one. You can even have teams. You end up with just robot wars, but the Olympics. Who wouldn't watch that? Oh dear.
I think we should petition for Robot Wars to be a permanent Olympic sport. I think that would be a fantastic addition. I feel like it's sorely missed. What did they add recently? I feel like they've added... skateboarding. They added skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
See, so they're adding new sports all the time. I'm just waiting for robot jousting, Olympic style.
Indeed.
Would the Japanese win? Would they build a robot that's too big and can't move? Who's to say?
I don't know. I just
don't
nothing. Know. And that was how Terminator happened. Oh well. But now, okay, finally a more, I don't want to say more interesting, slightly more important topic at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So this is some stuff about, which we haven't really talked about before, which is, we're going to talk about Okinawa. Specifically, one of the big things that affects Western Japanese relationships, which is the military base on Okinawa. For those who don't know, there are a couple of US military bases around Japan. The biggest one and the most infamous of them being the ones in Okinawa. And generally, the US in Okinawa have an extremely bad reputation amongst the locals, which include things like poisoning the water supply, which they did by accident.
This time.
Be lots of requests from the locals for the military base to be moved. And so they are kind of moving it, but they're also just building new places and moving it around. This includes making some reclaimed land, so building artificial land, but with other bits of land. For those who don't know, Okinawa was a very, 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 very big battle in the Second World War, which included lots of Americans and lots of Japanese people dying.
Including civilians.
Yes. And so this area that they want to use the reclaimed land from, where they want to get the land from to make the reclaimed land, is where people died.
And their bodies were not always recovered, being the
yes,
important thing.
That's a very important thing. That basically people's bodies weren't recovered, and so there are people protesting this. Specifically, this one lady outside, who is currently outside the Prime Minister's house, essentially protesting this because her mother was 7 years old when she was during the Battle of Okinawa, and there are still people who go around collecting skeletal remains.
Yeah, one of the volunteers for body retrieval is leading a similar protest in Okinawa himself. And this woman in Tokyo was from Okinawa and was inspired by him, so she went on hunger strike in front of the Prime Minister's house, as John said.
Yeah, so it's the kind of thing. Okinawa, the history of Okinawa is, I'm going to say, amazingly difficult. Along with the fact that Okinawa has its own language and its own native peoples as well, the Ryukyu people. So there are thousands of things that the Japanese government does wrong, but there's also, oh dear, basically there is. I don't want to speak for all foreigners in Japan, but generally the people who live near military bases in Japan, or if you go to visit places that are near military bases in Japan, the attitude towards Westerners is extremely negative. Basically, not only because they don't know any Japanese or stuff, is generally they are very, very bad, generally very bad at treating the locals, and generally have an awful reputation of either not paying debts. Also, the main issue also with American soldiers is that if there is any crime that they commit or any complaints about them, that is dealt with by American military police and not the Japanese police. Japanese police also have a lot of problems. But yeah.
Something of a conflict of interest going on in the American military in Okinawa.
American military and a conflict of interest? Who'd have thought? But yeah, the thing is, loads of people go to Okinawa all the time. It's a place with amazing beaches, and it's lovely. And generally, I'm not going to go there because it's too bloody hot. I'm a Viking. I'm walking around in a short sleeve shirt today. It was about 16 degrees, and so everyone's like, "Oh, you should go to Okinawa." I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to melt."
You will dry up like a sponge.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. There's a very good reason why the people of Okinawa do not want the American military moving their ancestors' bones and building a military base on top of it. And they're not happy with the Tokyo government for supporting such a measure.
And it's just it's the latest thing on top of a bunch of other stuff, including accidentally poisoning the water supply.
I mean,
yeah.
To be fair to the Japanese, the American government has poisoned their own citizens' water supply and still hasn't fixed it. So, they should consider that not
Good
as
point.
bad as possible. Anyway, yes, I'm very impressed by the people going on strike and protesting these things.
The hunger striker is 47-year-old Mikayo Kin,
who survived on water, salt, and soup with no ingredients in, which is bizarre, but very interesting.
That's what she ate during a hunger strike, so she didn't die.
Yeah. So it's very impressive, and I hope that more people are paying attention to the problems in Okinawa because of her and the people in Okinawa who are also protesting.
And that's why I just wanted to go, hey, this is a thing. Native Okinawans, conflicts with the Japanese government and the American government is important. And it's something that's very easily forgotten, especially when people go, pretty beaches. Pretty beaches. And lots of places with English, because there's an American military base there. But no. I'm sure it's a lovely place. Again, I'm not going to go because COVID, and also I don't want to melt.
No beach episode for you, John.
I can go to beach. I live an hour walk away. A 20-minute, or literally a 20-minute cycle ride.
The Geeks and Gaijin Sand Dune episode. Here we go.
Woo! I'm not looking forward to how hot it's going to get this summer.
Do you get to bail out before it gets to the hottest, or are you going to be there for the...
No.
Okay.
I'm going to be here for all of it. Oh, by the way, all Japan vaccine update. About 1.1 million of Japan's healthcare workers have been given at least one dose of the vaccine. That's out of 4.8 million healthcare workers. Japan has a population of about 125 million. So, yeah.
Good luck.
But everyone's going to be done by the time it comes to the Olympics. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do the Olympics. Just it would solve so many problems if you just didn't do the Olympics. No one cares. Oh well, I'll stop before I go into full rant mode again.
Do you know what is a small problem, though, Thomas?
I mean, no. I have absolutely no idea.
Japan is due for a general election this year.
Do they think the Olympics will help their chances?
They don't want to lose the face of not having the Olympics. And also the IOC don't want it not to happen. Because you know when the last time Olympics didn't happen, Thomas?
No.
World War II.
It's a long time ago.
Yes, basically no one wants it to be on their thing. Not on my watch. What about my watch? Not on his watch either.
If you don't consider global pandemic to be a good excuse, then nothing's ever going to be good enough for you, is it? Oh well.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. We've been Geeks and Gaijins, and you can find us on other places if you like listening to podcasts. You found this one. We are also on other podcast places. If you are not on a podcast place that you would like us to be on, we will be pleasantly placed there if you send us an email at geeksandgaijins@gmail.com.
Or contact us at Twitter.
Indeed.
At G-Gaijins.
Or you can find us on Facebook, Geeks and Gaijins. Or on Twitch, where we might stream in the future, because Thomas has a new computer now. Yay!
Hey, all set up.
Geeks and Gaijins. We're also on YouTube at Geeks and Gaijins, where Thomas has some wonderful video essays, as well as you can find the podcast if you like listening to things there. You can also usually find pictures of stuff and food on my Instagram at the Gaijin John. Not this week though, because it's a Thomas thing. And then you can of course find the backlog, and you can also just follow me on Twitter as well, which is at the Gaijin John or at John Combi. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you smash that Kitkat right in front of you. Eat it now.
Must consume the Kitkats. No, I said no.
See you guys next week in Japan.